Before joining the Alpha Sigma Rho fraternity and its sister sorority, 4 pledges must first spend the night in Garth Manor, an old Gothic mansion with a murderous past. They soon discover that the legend of Garth Manor is very much real, and that this is a Hell Night not all of them will survive. Hell Night is a movie that I've had an interesting history with. It's a hard movie not to like and admire. It's well made, has lots of atmosphere, a strong cast. The setting is fantastic, and there's plenty of tension. But even the most ardent Hell Night fan has to admit, it's a slow movie. There are sequences that just drag on and on and on. The first time I saw Hell Night, I remember liking it, but thinking, I'll probably never watch it again. But it's a movie that I find myself reaching for whenever I'm in the need for an early 80s horror fix. Now, I'm sure most people consider Hell Night a slasher. Personally, I've always thought of it more like a monster movie. As a matter of fact, Hell Night looks and feels a lot more like a Gothic monster movie than a 80s slasher. First, the movie takes place inside a Gothic mansion that's pretty much entirely candlelit. It's an awesome setting. The set design and cinematography are top-notch. The film is shot in soft focus, giving everything this dreamy glow. The fact that all the characters wear period costumes only adds to its vintage look and feel. Director Tom Desimone is able to establish a great deal of atmosphere, and he knows how to create some pretty considerable tension. There's a nicely orchestrated sequence in which a fraternity prankster meets his demise on the roof of the manor. There's another suspenseful sequence in which a character is chased through a hedge maze. Hell Night is a surprisingly restrained film, too. Considering Desimone's background having directed blue movies, Hell Night isn't gratuitous when it comes to violence, and there's zero nudity. We don't get our first death until around the 30-minute mark, though, and there are some long periods of time between kills. As a matter of fact, the body count, minus the villain, is only 6, and 2 of those take place in the final act. The time in between kills allows the characters to just be. Their dialogue is snappy and often humorous, particularly in the first act. The characters all have character, making their untimely demises carry more weight. The antagonist also feels more like a basement-dwelling monster than your typical slasher killer. The cast is strong all around, led by Linda Blair and Friday the 13th: The Final Chapter's Peter Barton. Hell Night won't be for everyone, though, especially those with short attention spans. At one point, a character escapes Garth Manor and books it to go find help. First, he goes back to campus, only to discover that it's pretty much deserted. Then he's off to the local police station, but his pleas for help fall on deaf ears there. Then he steals a shotgun that's been conveniently left on a table in a room that's way too accessible to the public. Then he steals a guy's car and races back to... Then you have this incredibly drawn-out sequence in which Blair and Barton are exploring the labyrinthian catacombs beneath Garth Manor. And this sequence feels like it goes on for days. The last act makes up for most of the languid pacing in the midsection, though, and Hell Night goes out with a considerable bang and a nicely satisfying end to our antagonist. Hell Night requires patience in some spots, but that patience is rewarded. It's a well-made and atmospheric film with likable characters and plenty of tense moments. I recommend it. As for this new limited edition Blu-ray release from 101 Films, first let's take a look at the presentation. Everything comes inside this nice slip. Love the classic Hell Night poster art on the cover. See, Blu-ray distributors, if the classic poster art ain't broke, don't reimagine it. The back of the slip features the plot synopsis, list of extras, and technical specs. Here's the Blu-ray case with different but also cool artwork on the slip. There's the Blu-ray disc. We also get a nice limited edition booklet featuring essays by Andrew Graves and Barry Forshaw. As for the picture quality, this release features a transfer from a 4K scan of the best surviving archival 35mm print with minor SD inserts to replace missing footage. There's noticeable damage from the source print It's not overly distracting, but it's quite noticeable at times. Because the film was shot in soft focus, it brings down the amount of detail present, and it brings out the grain level, particularly during the exteriors. Once inside Garth Manor, the picture quality is noticeably sharper, and there's a lot more detail present. The HD inserts were hardly noticeable, at least they were hardly noticeable to me. Overall, I'd give the picture quality a solid 4 out of 5. Same thing with the audio quality. I thought Hell Night both looked and sounded fantastic on this release from 101 Films. As far as extras are concerned, first up we have Linda Blair, The Beauty of Horror. It's 35 minutes and 21 seconds in length. Ms. Blair discusses how doing The Exorcist changed the course of her life, from aspiring to be a vet to being an actress. She discusses how Hell Night came along, that it was a much longer shoot than expected, how proud she is of the movie. Today, she discusses working with Vince Van Patten and Peter Barton, and how close-knit the cast was. She discusses working with director Tom Desimone and how lovely he was, and much more. Next, we have Hell Night with Tom Desimone. It's 26 minutes and 57 seconds in length. Mr. Desimone discusses how his student film landed him a meeting with the future producer of Hell Night. He discusses his early career in adult cinema, how Hell Night came along, casting the film, the challenges of location shooting, working with the producers, including Chuck Russell, who brought on Frank Darabont as a PA, the editing process, how Hell Night launched his directing career, and much more. Next, we have Peter Barton, Facing Fear. It's 20 minutes and 50 seconds in length. Mr. Barton discusses making the jump from modeling to acting. He discusses wanting to be in just one movie that would be considered a classic, and he got that with Friday the 13th, the final chapter. He discusses auditioning for Hell Night and reluctantly accepting the job, working with Linda Blair, Tom Desimone, and producer Bruce Curtis. Mr. Barton discusses fun times on the set, having his first screen kiss with Linda Blair, and more. Next, we have Producing Hell with Bruce Curtis. It's 14 minutes and 5 seconds in length. Mr. Curtis discusses the genesis of Hell Night, how Irwin Yablans came into the picture, getting Linda Blair to star and Tom Desimone to direct. He discusses having to convince Peter Barton to be in the film, casting Vince Van Patten and the rest of the principal cast. He discusses the shooting locations, how pleased he is with the film today, and more. Next, we have Riding Hell with Randy Feldman. It's 25 minutes and 57 seconds in length. Mr. Feldman discusses Hell Night being inspired by Black Christmas. He discusses the writing process for Hell Night, taking the script to Irwin Yablans and selling it to Bruce Curtis. He discusses a couple of scenes that he wrote but weren't shot, what he learned from the experience of writing Hell Night, his thoughts on the film today, and more. Next, we have Vince Van Patten and Suki Goodwin in conversation. It's 26 minutes and 53 seconds in length. They discuss all the night shoots and the chemistry between the actors on the set. They discuss getting cast in the film, Kevin Costner being a grip on the film. They discuss the shooting locations and their love scene. They discuss their careers post-Hell Night, and more. Next, we have Kevin Brophy and Jenny Newman in conversation. It's 23 minutes and 1 second in length. They discuss the fanfare for Hell Night, Quentin Tarantino's love for the film, their characters and their characters' demises. They discuss the shooting locations, working with Tom Desimone, Linda Blair, Bruce Curtis, partying behind the scenes, and more. Next, we have Gothic Design in Hell, an interview with art director Stephen G. Legler. It's 22 minutes and 49 seconds in length. Mr. Legler discusses the shooting locations and dressing the locations to make them look old and weathered. He discusses the hedge maze set, the rooftop set, the props, the furniture, the tunnels, and more. Next, we have Anatomy of the Death Scenes. It includes interviews with writer Randy Feldman, makeup effects artist Pam Pietzman, special effects artist John Eggett, and Tom Desimone. They discuss the different murders in the film, including the decapitation, the head-twisting neck break, the demise of the maniac, among others, and how they were achieved. Next, we have On Location at Kimberly Crest. It's 6 minutes and 48 seconds in length. Director Tom Desimone discusses shooting the exteriors at the Kimberly Crest home and the specific spots at the location where they shot various scenes. We get the theatrical trailer, TV spots, a radio spot, and a photo gallery, and we get an audio commentary with Linda Blair, Tom Desimone, Irwin Yablans, and Bruce Curtis. This is an absolutely loaded Blu-ray release for Hell Night from the fine folks over at 101 Films. The picture quality and the sound quality are both fantastic. We get a lot of extras on this release, and pretty lengthy extras At that, we get a beautiful presentation here with a really cool collectible booklet. This is a killer limited edition release for Hell Night from the folks over at 101 Films. I'll post a link to their website down in the description. Go over and check them out. This release is also Region B locked, so you will need a Region B or a region-free Blu-ray player in order to play it. Again, if you've not seen Hell Night, I recommend it. This release would be a great way to introduce yourself to the film. If you are a fan of Hell Night, this release is a must-own. If you've seen Hell Night, please let me know your thoughts on the film down in the comments section below. If you've already picked up this release from 101 Films, let me know your thoughts on it down in the comments section below also. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like on it and share it on social media. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. A huge shout out to all my patrons and channel members. I appreciate your generosity and support of my channel. Become a patron today and join me for exclusive live streams, get early access to videos, and have a say in what movies I review on my channel. Become a channel member and get access to exclusive badges and emotes to use when I stream. Links are in the description. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.